Hi, this is Kate. Time for in the studio with Kate for this week. First thing I'm going to talk about is a painting that I may have mentioned last time that I was working on. But okay, I started out with this picture. This is my studio. Okay, this is a photograph that I took of walking along the canal by my house. These are some of the steps in process. And this is my final painting. I think it conveyed the feeling of walking along the canal for me. It was really a lot of fun for me to paint, but also a lot of growth. I guess I don't usually do landscapes. I mean, it's not exact a replica or anything, but it does show the feeling of what that photograph, meant to me, and that walk meant to me. So that's sort of what I was going after. But my inner critic was working overtime, telling me I couldn't paint a landscape. What do I think I'm doing? All those messages, and I just had to silence them and keep moving forward. So this is probably the first time I've taken one of my photographs and made a painting out of it. So I'm pretty pleased with it. So here's another look. The other thing that I was working on this week was out of a class. And kind of what the teacher was going for was like a little abstract like this. So she's using gel pens over fluid acrylic, okay? Not fluid, high flow acrylic. So I attempted to do that. I started with purple, and then I didn't have any iridescent gold or anything, so I put nickel azo gold on there, or maybe it was quinacridone gold. Anyways, it didn't look good at all. I tried doing some of the marking with gel pen, and then I didn't like it so much, so I covered it all with collage. And I just want to share what I did with that page. It was all deli printed papers. So the whole page here was covered with those papers. But then I painted around it, made the moon shape, painted around it. And then if you can see, I don't know how well you'll be able to see in the video, right here, I did the gel pen technique. And I did it right down here too. In this case, it was just one layer. In this case, there were 3 layers of colors. I actually only had 3 gel pens that I could use, but I thought it was a great way of combining both of those techniques in a piece. So even though I started out wanting to do that technique from that mini class, it ended up evolving into something else, but then I was still able to take that technique and add it to my piece, so it's really is my own. That seems to be a thing for me right now, is if I'm doing a course with somebody or using collage or something, to really do something to that paper to actually make it my own. And so I was very excited about this because it was a great way to incorporate those 2 things. So those are the 2 major things that I worked on this week. I got a little bit of a start on this I've been resurrecting old canvases that I put aside for some reason or other. And the very first thing I learned about that is you should take notes. Take notes, put a note in your studio log to your future self that, when you come back to this is what you use, this is what you were doing, this was your intention. But on these, a number of these canvases, I don't even know what paint I was using, so it's kind of weird in a sense. I'm just looking for the picture to show you. This was another picture I had taken quite a while ago. I was pretty sure it was in here. Let's see. Okay. here's the photograph. That's a picture of my daughter and her college roommate just walking to a folk festival. And I had started it on this canvas here. And here it is. Okay, there it is. Okay, so it's kind of the same essence. I have a lot more work to do on it. I actually painted them out and I really put a lot of, I think I used probably fiber paste or something. If you look really close, it is really textured. So I'm guessing that. And then I collaged words down here because both these girls are writers. And so I've got a lot of work to do. I'm hoping to work on that in this next week. And another painting I'm reerecting to work on is this piece, which I just got stuck on, so I didn't know what to do further. I have to go quite a ways back so you can see what it looks like. This is a very Native American looking woman and not a lot of color. But if you look close, I don't know if you can see it. There's like a shape of a dog in here. Let me see where the nose is. I could say this looks like a nose to me, and an eye, and some ears. And so I thought, oh, there's a dog. And then I thought, well, dog really isn't appropriate to this idea. But my friend Cynthia, who always has great ideas, looked at it and she said, why don't you make it into a coyote or a wolf? So that's what I think I'm going to do. So I'm hoping in the next week to get work on both of those paintings. I have a third one because I like to move around. You know, when something has to dry, it's nice to be able, if you're in the studio, work on another painting. This is one I started the same time I started The Lady with the Blue Hair. It was when I was at the retreat in Island Park, and I'm still just adding color, imagery. It's probably going to change 1,000 times before it's finished, but here it is at this point. I put this little raven in there this time and a bunch of other things, because part of my process is I'll paint on this like this, and then I'll turn it, and then I'll paint, and then I'll turn it, and then I'll paint. And pretty soon the bird probably won't be there anymore, but it's all part of the painting. So those are the things that I've either worked on or am working on in my studio, and I encourage you to be doing the same. And if you are, I'd love to hear about what you're working on as well. So I'll see you next week.